All right, Vince. Listen,
yeah.
we kind of gotten past the draft, and these guys are going to mini camps and introducing themselves to some of the veterans that'll be there, and certainly the coaches are getting them introduce their schemes, and all of that is going on, and that's good and dandy. But there was another issue that you and I have been debating now for the better part of this offseason as we watched it, and that has to do with these two quarterbacks. I mean, Lamar and of course Rodgers. Him leaving Green Bay and going to New York, and then Lamar, not having a contract, and all of this scuttlebug that went on with that. Now they're all set. Lamar's been paid. Aaron Rodgers has been placed in New York City and surrounded by a lot of guys, and even adding more guys. And what I'm thinking is, if I were to make a decision, I have to make a decision and bet my house on which one of these two guys, which one of these two organizations I could plan on being the most successful over the next 2 years. Not 1, 2, 3, or 5, not 1, 3, or 5, but 2 years. Yeah. Which one of these quarterbacks do you think, and these teams you think are better situated to be successful over the next couple of years?
Well, we're talking about two MVP kind of quarterbacks, Jackie. They're two different style of quarterbacks, okay, looking at Lamar is a kind of, with the new offensive coordinator now and with their new acquisitions with OBJ, they got they have some receivers to throw to, okay? So
Nelson
Aguilar is another one. They drafted a receiver, Zay Flowers, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so they're positioning themselves now to get back to a wide open offense, not strictly a one-dimensional offense where Lamar can throw. They also have Mark Andrews, okay, one of the great tight ends.
Absolutely.
They can feature every week.
But they got a whole lot of other good guys.
Okay, the
around.
Ravens, a lot of people like the Ravens, okay? A lot of people, they're in that, AFC North.
Kind of a black and blue, like a nasty kind of.
It's going to be a tough division. And John Harbaugh understands it, Jackie. So he all along knew they would sign Lamar. Okay, we didn't know he would sign for that kind of money.
Well,
but
he was actually the only consistent voice about what was going to happen.
Well, did you ever doubt he was not going to sign him?
He kept saying it the whole time.
So, but I have to tell you that we all know he's with the same team. The guy that brings the most hope for New York in the Jets is, Aaron Rodgers. He's an MVP.
So
Jackie.
are you officially saying now that
he will
over
have
the next
most
2
impactful.
years?
He will be most impactful, and I'll tell you why, okay? Because this guy has done it. He's seen it. He's been to a Super Bowl. He's been to playoff. This guy produces numbers. He doesn't throw interceptions, Jackie. He's very accurate as a thrower. He's very charismatic, okay? He can rally this team. He's the only player that could step into the New York franchise and have an immediate effect on the team. Look who he's got to throw to this year. He brings over Alan Lazard, who he threw to at the Green Bay. He's got Randall Cobb, who he's thrown to for 15 years, okay? That's his buddy. Okay, they've got Nathaniel Hackett.
Hardeman.
I haven't even mentioned him yet. You've got Nathaniel Hackett, who coached him to his best years in Green Bay. All right, he's got McCole Hardeman, who played for the Chiefs, who's a speedster. He's another deep threat. He's got 2 first-round draft picks in Garrett Wilson and Corey Davis. Okay, let me keep going on and on. I got to stop sometime.
He's got Laken Tomlinson playing left guard for him.
Okay.
In my opinion, one of the best, if not the most talented left guard in all of pro football.
This guy, there's nobody that has a release as fast as Aaron Rodgers. Okay, what does that mean to most people out there? That means the pass rush is nullified by split seconds. Okay,
exactly.
So you can't get to him. You can't get,
Absolutely.
And if you get to him, okay, you got to him. All right, but they're going to get to him once in a while.
Vince. He's processing
very
what he
fast,
sees, and he is making decisions so quick that even the fastest of edge rushers can't get to him.
I'm going to tell you right now who's going to profit the most in New York is Zach Wilson. Because Zach now can stand back and watch a guy perform. And Zach, let me say something. This guy is just naturally charismatic and talented. You don't have to be arrogant to play the sport of football as a quarterback. You have to be a leader, okay? And you have to make a great example and put guys around you that they believe in you, and that's the way to do it, by example. And this is what Aaron Rodgers actually brings to the table, Jackie. I mean, if people look at him like, well, he's arrogant or he's aloof or he's different. No, he's just confident.
Yeah.
There's a confident factor in how he plays the game. So that's my take on that. But Jackie, let's rank these teams now. Real quickly, we'll go back in each division. Let's look at the NFC West first. Who do you think is going to, who's your favorite? Who's going to be a favorite in each one of these divisions?
You basically asked me
West.
Who's going to finish the number one team out of that division.
Who do you like?
Well, as difficult as it is for me to say that, and there are a couple of things that could make me have to reconsider, and the first of which is the quarterback that's at San Francisco. When you talk about the NFC West, I look at what they did. They brought in Hargraves, another devastating inside pass rusher, to go along with the 2 or 3 that they had up there, and this does not bode well for anybody playing quarterback in any NFL team that opposes them, certainly not in their division where they had to play them twice. And then I looked at the Rams and their offensive line and how they're restructuring and everything, and there's not going to be that experience there to play in and play out, deal with these pass rushes that they got. So San Francisco, I give them the edge in the NFC West. But right behind them, I have to put the Rams, because I am not ever going to underestimate Sean McVay and his play calling ability and the use of the talent that he brings in. By the way, Vince, you mentioned that tight end that they brought in. Sean McVay coached tight ends at Washington, right?
Yes.
Sean McVay, if you look at his stable of tight ends all the way across the 4 or 5 guys on the roster at the Rams right now, they are 6'5", 6'6", and up. 6'5", 6'6", and up. So that means that they can throw that intermediate ball inside or outside toward the sideline, and they can put that ball up high, don't have to be very accurate, and these guys can jump like basketball players and come down with the ball. So I'm looking forward to seeing, the production of we saw what Higbee has done. I'm looking forward to continuing to watch the ongoing production there. Now, back to the NFC West.
Yeah.
And then after the Rams at second, then I'm going to go Seattle, because they did mount up a little momentum last year with the quarterback and all the struggles they had. The defense came and rose up. And the team that I'm figuring is going to be at the bottom of the NFC West are the Cardinals.
Yeah.
I mean, their quarterback is hurt. How do you can't be out throwing a whole lot this offseason. Their struggles in their offensive line, struggles here, struggles there. Even though they got a new coach and everything, a defensive-oriented guy, they got to put points on the board. And if you don't have your guys there to do it, then this could be a problem.
Well, I agree kind of somewhat what you say, Jackie. I put the 49ers first in that division, but I still think they have the Kyle Shanahan. They have the quality. Oh, look, we're getting phone calls already, Jackie. But I would have to swap the Seattle and the Rams. I think Seattle had a great draft. I think it depends on how Geno Smith plays. If he can play like he played last year, I think they would be my second choice. But I do like Zach Charbonnet, because he is an awesome running back from UCLA. He's going to add a lot to that team. So I do like. How about the NFC East, Jackie? We've got where the Eagles were in the Super Bowl last year. That would be my pick, leading the Cowboys second for me.
Well, one of the interesting things that has occurred over the last few weeks is Brandon Cooks. You remember him. He started off a deep threat receiver, obviously a legitimate threat, because everybody keeps picking him up and nobody's ever asking him to take a cut and pay. So he must be consistently very good at what he does. Well, Brandon Cooks got there to Dallas, and he talked about Prescott and how accurate this guy is and what an arm he has. And when a deep threat receiver starts bragging on the quarterback's arm, that means he can put that ball down the field 50, 60 yards for him to run underneath it. So I like Dallas here. I like everything about the Dallas Cowboys organization, from top Jerry Jones right on down to the last man on the roster. I like the addition of Brandon Cooks. And, they added Leonard Fournette.
Yeah.
And Vince, we remember when Tampa won the Super Bowl, Leonard Fournette couldn't catch a cold in Alaska with a pair of underwear on. But Vince, as the year went along, man, the dude as the year went along,
where do you come up with this stuff?
He got better and better and better. And then even in the next year, at one point in time, he was leading the team in reception.
Tom Brady and him worked after practice, before practice, for hours. He goes, look, I need you. the backfield.
So now he understands his value as a pass receiver out of the backfield.
No, Leonard Fournette's a good quality
let
back.
alone running the ball. So you got him, you got Pollard.
Zeke, you got Pollard.
You got an offensive line there that's growing and getting better, and nobody puts heat on the passer.
But do you think they can beat the Eagles?
Nobody puts heat on the passer.
Can they beat the Eagles?
Can they
Nick Sirianni.
They can beat anybody. First of all,
look at Jalen Hurts, man.
Okay, all of that. And I love their offensive line. But
they had a great draft, Jackie. They had a great draft.
You got to figure there are going to be some differences in Philadelphia's output because they lost their offensive coordinator. They lost their defensive coordinator. They lost their best defensive pass rusher.
Okay, let's see how those two coordinators do on their new teams. You got the Colts and you got the the Phoenix Cardinals.
Absolutely. But how is Philadelphia going to do? That's what we're talking about.
Well,
I think they'll be okay because they do have a really good young quarterback. But I'm going with Dallas right there, and then Philadelphia, and then the New York Giants. I'm going with that. I'm going with that group of guys.
Just give me their favorite. Just give me your favorite. Okay, how about the NFC South? What do you like? What's one sticks out of your mind?
Well, I'm going to have to go with Carolina.
Me too.
I'm going to go with Carolina.
I like Frank Reich.
Why?
Because I like what the style of what he's going to bring to this team.
First of all,
they like Bryce Young. They got the young quarterback.
Okay, first thing that you disappointed me, Vince.
Why?
That's the first time you ever start talking about you like a team without mentioning that you like the quarterback.
you
like the quarterback before you like anybody else.
The only defense is this, Jackie. He's not my number one quarterback. He's a good quarterback. Okay. C.J. Stroud is the best quarterback coming out of the draft. But I'm going to tell you that you got to have the coach and the quarterback.
So what do you think about
this coach? Understands the quarterback position.
Okay.
So they're going to be good.
Okay. So you in the NFC South, you like Carolina coming out there. What about New Orleans, Atlanta, and Tampa?
Probably New Orleans second. You know, they got the quarterback from the Raiders there.
Okay, Carr?
They
got
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr,
so I think he'll be okay. But I don't really have a lot of faith in the Saints.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Well, the next one here is the NFC North.
Yeah.
And I'm going to jump off. I'm going to jump off the boat on that one, Vince.
Come on.
You know, I think we saw what Kevin did.
Yeah, I know.
We saw the young guy come in, and he did not impede the quarterback. He did not impede.
That's right.
Justin Jefferson took off, got even better. And then they just added another kid. They added Jordan Addison from USC, another spectacular receiver to their fit. They signed their offensive linemen all across the board, so the protection is going to be solid. But this is the key for me in Minnesota, the hiring of this guy. Brian Flores.
Yeah,
I said it a few weeks ago, Vince.
Yeah.
This guy, I watched him tutor underneath Bill Belichick for a number of years. I thought he was an heir apparent to Bill until they messed around and gave him the right to talk to somebody else, and he got gobbled up before you knew what was going on, and he was having success on the defense.
Kevin knows what kind of quality coach he is. That's why he hired him.
Absolutely. So the addition of Brian Flores, to me, it's kind of like adding Rodgers to the Jets.
Yeah.
This guy knows what he's doing.
My only question mark there is Kirk Cousins. He really hasn't been able to deliver in big-time games. I love Justin Jefferson. I love the receiving core. I like the coaching staff now. I mean, I'd have to, I'm going to go with Detroit, Jackie. Detroit hasn't been there in a long time. Dan Campbell's been doing a great job rebuilding this team, making them focus in on what's important.
What about the quarterback?
Getting back. They got Goff, but let me tell you who they drafted this year that could step in and surprise a few people. It's Hendon Hooker. Okay, from Tennessee.
Yeah, but he's coming off of an ACL.
I don't care. He's coming off, Jackie.
Torn ACL.
Come on, Jack.
How many men have you known?
Oh man,
other than Doug Smith?
If he's coming off a back surgery or something, that's different. A knee, he's gonna be fine, Jackie.
That.
You know what? I'm telling you what. He's probably running 40-yard dashes right now.
No, I don't know about that.
Ready to go.
He tore his ACL.
He's ready to go.
He's tore his ACL. He's 25 years old. He's
with
a
the
rookie.
medical knowledge they have today, you can rehab quickly and get back.
Yeah, I know that. I agree with that.
He's a young kid, Jack. This guy can play football. Okay?
And he's a leader.
C.J. Stroud I love, but this guy is also very good. I liked him as well. I like Stetson Bennett too. But that would be my pick. I wouldn't have to say with Detroit. They impressed me last year, and I think he's going to carry on. Minnesota will be second. Okay, how about the AFC West, Jackie? One of the toughest divisions in football right now.
It's one of the toughest in football, and even though I'm an LA guy right here, it's hard for me to just say I'm going to jump all over the Chargers. I love their head coach. Brandon Staley's done a fantastic job. Got to get over that hiccup of going for it on fourth down in the wrong part of the field like he did a couple of years ago. And then they got to do a better job of running the football, and I think that's why they brought the young man over from the Dallas Cowboys, to incorporate a really nice supplemental run game with their quarterback. So I like what they've done, but it's hard for me to like anything that they've done
over Chiefs,
over the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, I agree with you.
They've got Patrick Mahomes, they've got Andy Reid. Even though Eric Bieniemy is not going to be the offensive play caller, offensive coordinator like he's been the whole time that the quarterback has been there, I still like Andy Reid and this quarterback and this team.
Yeah,
the way they're building this team, the pieces that they're adding. So I like Kansas City, and then the Chargers, and then I'm a little bit torn between the Broncos and the Raiders.
Peyton?
I'm a little
Sean
bit torn.
Peyton? Come on, he's a new coach to Jackie.
Yeah, but it's going to take a while. And Vince, don't forget who the head coach of the Raiders is. This guy came from over the Patriots, won a lot of football games. The only thing is that he has, you can't say that he's had the same success as a head coach
as he has an offensive coordinator.
As he has as an offensive coordinator. Yeah. And I don't know, maybe he has some things that need to be adjusted. Maybe not. Maybe it's just the players that he had, because he will get rid of you if he don't think he'll.
That's true.
Because if he liked Derek Carr, if he thought Derek Carr could help them win a Super Bowl, he would still be there.
He would still be there.
So and I trust this guy's opinion. He's been good for a long time.
Well, Jimmy Garoppolo, Jimmy's won a lot of games, Jackie. He's got a high percentage of wins out there, and that's his quarterback right now. And so they could develop something pretty. And he was familiar with Jimmy when he was back in Boston. So, I mean, there's a connection there that could have. But I think the Sean Payton's going to surprise a lot of teams this year. They're going to be on top.
Now,
I don't think they're going to win the West, but I think they're going to surprise a lot.
I like Payton, and I do like his quarterback.
Yes, he's going to make Russell Wilson a whole different quarterback.
It's going to be a totally different experience.
You watch.
With Russell this year as opposed to last year. So, that magic right there, I didn't give it a whole lot of consideration when I was looking at this division. But you're right. Sean Payton is going to, he's going to put some hardcore things out there for Russell Wilson to have as his basics. And then he's going to be allowed to be Russell Wilson outside of those things, and that's when he's special, in my opinion.
But I still think the Chiefs are the class of the West. But I think if the Chargers can improve in the areas that they were missing last year and some of their weaknesses, I think they can give them a good run for their money. But if they can't, Brandon Staley, you got to improve. You got to improve, and that's how you move forward. Yeah. And if that happens, I think there could be a team that will be very proud to watch play, because I think they'll be in the playoffs.
So, Vince, how about the AFC East?
Oh, boy, AFC East. Okay, now, you know what? Everybody's going to look at the Buffalo Bills, but I like the Jets, man.
I knew that.
I like the Jets.
That should have been the first thing that come out of your mouth, because you're crazy about Aaron Rodgers.
I like Buffalo Bills too, but I like what the Jets bring. Robert Saleh has got his defense playing, Jackie. Now he's got an offense. He's got an offense to go with his defense.
Championship caliber.
Come on now, Jackie. I mean, and didn't their punter or kicker go to the Pro Bowl last year? So I mean, look, the Jets are going to be in the thick of things. I have to tell you right now. But hey, beating the Bills is no easy task. Beating Miami is no easy task.
You didn't mention the Patriots.
Beating the Patriots. I mean, but experienced quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I mean, Bill Belichick. You got his work cut out for.
That's the reason why I had the Jets. I had the Patriots, I had the Buffalo. Now, this is what I want to ask you, Vince.
Okay.
And I know you would know this.
Okay.
The psychic. The Jets just added their, arguably the best quarterback in pro football today. Mm-hmm. Arguably the best over the last 3 years, maybe. They just added Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
If you're the quarterback in Buffalo, or you're the quarterback in Miami, and I'm going to excuse the quarterback in the Patriots because he's so young he might not know the difference. Mm-hmm. But if you're Josh Allen, and if you're Tonga Valoa down in Miami, does competing against Aaron Rodgers make you feel inadequate? Make you feel like you can't compete against a guy like that?
No, it makes.
Does it make you nervous? Does it make you nervous?
No, it would elevate my play.
Yeah, now, Vince, let me stop you right there. That's the reason why I like you as a quarterback.
I want to go against the best.
Yeah, but Vince, I can't say that I played with 21 different quarterbacks, and I can't say the 21 different quarterbacks that I played with felt the same way you did, because I had a few alibi Ike's in there too.
Well, it's.
So, I mean, really, think about it, Vince.
No, that's a good question.
What do you think? Let's exclude yourself for a moment.
Those guys?
Think. Do you think the average? Do you think these guys are going to look at Aaron Rodgers and say, "I don't stand a snowball chance in Hades of beating this guy"?
A lot of these young guys today, Jackie, have an ego. Now, I think Josh Allen is like the same way. Nobody's better than me. I mean, he's got to have that approach because he's really been. I mean, he's warmed up to all the guys on his team. And that's what it boils down to, Jackie. It's like, hey, me and my team, we're better than you guys. I don't care who you got playing, And so you have to go in with that approach. And I think Tua, he's a great, respectful kid. He's a good player, but will he last 17 games? I don't know, Jackie. I mean, this is, even though they have rules that are designed to protect the quarterbacks in the NFL, they're still going to get hit. They're still going to get thrown to the ground. It's just part of the nature of the game. So I hope he can last. I thought we haven't heard the end of Tom Brady yet, but Tom Brady comes out.
I told you that.
Wait a minute.
I can't. Don't start.
He will go. He's down in Florida.
Don't even start it, Vince.
He's down in Florida.
There's no way that Tom Brady is doing anything other than right now.
What else is Tom Brady doing right now?
Tell me,
what's he doing
right now? I'm going to tell you. I don't know this person, but I'm going to tell you what I think.
You're going to get tired of laying on the beach, Jackie.
You want me to tell you what I think he's doing?
What?
The man has a multi-million-dollar contract to do broadcasting starting next year. If he's worth his salt,
I can practice broadcasting anytime, Jackie.
Yes, if he's worth it, yeah. But look at all the other quarterbacks that they practice broadcasting that failed.
Well, yeah,
that didn't get through 1 year.
Yeah.
And he has to be aware of that. So what my money says?
Time for broadcasting.
Do you know
for
what my
Tom
money?
Brady?
You know what my money says Tom Brady's doing right now?
What?
He's somewhere with one of the top voice coaches, one of the top theoretical coaches relative to building and forming opinions and broadcast. Oh, yes, he is.
No, he isn't.
He is not going to be. I think so. He is not going to be an
ask our
unpopular.
viewers. Maybe they can comment on our show and let us know.
I mean, all you got to do is look at the guy's track record, Vince. The guy's track record.
I know he puts the time and effort. He's a workaholic.
He shows up prepared.
I know.
In every little detail.
I think he's still working out. He's still working out, Jackie.
Vince, what would make you think
he's in the gym working out? That's what he's doing. He's lifting weights. He's working. He's throwing a little bit.
I disagree with that 100%. I think what we should expect to see from Tom Brady next time he appears, we should expect to see Tom Brady giving us accurate, pinpoint analysis of what's going on in the most important man on the offensive field at any time, the quarterback.
Okay, let's go.
I think that's critical.
All right, let's go on from the AFC East. Let's go to the AFC South. Let's talk about the AFC South. Okay,
well, you gotta like Jacksonville.
Yeah, I like Jacksonville.
You gotta like Jacksonville and Doug Peterson.
And I like Tennessee.
The job he's done with that young quarterback, you saw what they did.
Trevor Lawrence, yeah.
Yeah, they did a great job. Remember they thumped the Chargers last year?
Oh, man.
And then Tennessee,
they were down 27 points, Jack.
Absolutely.
I think it was a self-destruction from the Chargers more than the Jacksonville.
They couldn't run the ball.
If they could just put them away.
The interesting thing about this draft here of the Chargers, did you see them get a big-time running back?
No.
Okay, well.
Yeah, I know.
They're talking about not signing Austin Eckler.
They got some receivers.
So how are they going to bring the kid from Dallas?
Well, it's just like what the Rams are going to do with their tight ends, okay? They didn't get a wide receiver, really. All right, okay, Jackie.
They got one.
Okay, they got one. But watch what the Rams do with their tight end package.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm expecting.
There's stuff that we've never seen before that Sean McVay is dreaming up right now with three tight ends in an offensive set. You've never seen it before, but I can just imagine what he's coming up with.
I can imagine that
if
too.
If he's smart, he'll be doing it because he's got an extra blocker, 2 blockers, 3 blockers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely, and I'm looking forward to that. And I agree. I agree with what you just said.
What's going to happen? I'm telling you, that's going to be a huge part of his offense.
And I mentioned this earlier. One of the things if you probably look at the tight end rooms in all of the teams in the NFL, if you look at the Rams tight end room, I bet you to the man they have the highest height and the highest overall size of that position than any other team in the National Football League. And I think Sean McVay, when he was a tight end coach at Washington, I'm just speculating here now, but I can imagine this guy when he was in a position where he was a subordinate to the leaders of the offense, that he sat there and he looked at the people that he had in his room and thought about ways to deploy them. Oh, I could do this with him. I could do this with the tight end. I could do that. I can just see him thinking that way, and now he's loading up. Every time he brings in a tight end, he's prototypically built for the position and even beyond that in height. And then look at Tyler Higbee. Look at anybody who has ever gone out for a pass as a tight end with the Rams. They've had a lot of success and been critical in their attack. So I expect that to be a special thing for the Rams going forward.
Well, the AFC South, Jackie, I think Houston too is, I love C.J. Stroud. I hope they protect him well. I hope they bring him along the way the maturation process does take a little time for a quarterback, especially a rookie quarterback. So I think D'Amico Ryans is pretty sharp. As a defensive coach, he'll understand what the offense needs to do to protect this quarterback. So I think this will be a team to look at down the road. AFC North, Jackie, this could be the most interesting division in football. I'll tell you who I like first. So you already know who I like.
It's the modern day black and blue.
Right.
If you were to
to
ask me.
It's a tough. But you know who I like.
Who is that?
I like Joe Burrow, right?
Yeah.
You know I like Cincinnati. Okay, but.
And so do I.
But the other team that I think is going to give them a run for their money this year, and I always like Cleveland, not Cleveland, Pittsburgh, but talk about Cleveland.
Yeah.
Okay, Jackie, you know they got Deshaun Watson, but who do they draft this year, and who's going to protect this guy? You know they have a good running attack. They have a quality coach in Kevin Stefanski. Okay.
Yeah.
This team is not far away. Then jumping over the hurdle and jumping into the playoffs and making a big leap. A big leap. Okay,
especially
so who do you like?
Especially with Deshaun.
Who is this
Watson
guy they got?
So Vince, I like Cincinnati. I agree with you. Okay. But I think the guy that you're talking about, and I want to stress this to the fans that are watching this show, and I want to challenge you to take a look at this. If this young man is healthy and earns his way into the starting lineup, his name is DeJuan Jones out of Ohio State. Now, this young man is 6'8" tall, and he weighs 374 pounds. And he's an offensive tackle. Now, I was an offensive tackle. Like to think I was a pretty good one. But when I think about
6'8", he's got
an
like
offensive line coach, when I think about an offensive line coach who understands how to teach a young offensive lineman how to systematically go through his approaches to contact as he goes to get the guy, as he minimizes his risk of losing the guy on his way to him, this guy right here, at his size, if you run the ball at him 3 straight times, you're going to get 3.5 yards of carry, and you only have to have 10 to get a first down. This guy is going to be a people mover. There's no way you can stand. I don't care who the best two. I played against some good two-gappers, Vince. The two-gappers are the guy that hits you right in the middle, get arm extensions, and look for the ball, separate, and go to the ball. You can't do that with a guy this size.
What's his arm reach?
78 or something
7
crazy.
feet.
I mean, it's insane how big this guy is. And he did the same thing at Hawaii, same type of things at Ohio State. Go take a look at him. And I think him lining up next to Joe Bentonio, a Pro Bowl left guard and a veteran, knows how to bring young guys along because he was brought along by Joe Thomas and those guys. This is going to be a dynamic team, particularly to try to stop on the run side. And I think they're going to be, when you look at this team, for those of us who are old enough to remember, our minds are going to go back to the Raiders when you had Art Shell and Gene Upshaw and people like John Hanna and Leon Gray at what's that?
They ran the football, too.
They ran the football, and again, they featured those guys. So I am so impressed with this young man right here and what he's capable of doing, Vince. I get excited for Cleveland.
Jackie, this is the black and blue division. Okay, we haven't even mentioned the Baltimore Ravens.
Haven't even mentioned them. Haven't even
mentioned them yet. So, I mean, everybody is saying, watch out for the Ravens.
Right.
Well, they're going to have to go through Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Cincinnati.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
and listen, Tomlinson at Pittsburgh, the guy's only wins 10 games every year.
Yeah, man.
So you can
say slouch either, Jackie.
You can say what you want. You can say what you want.
Pittsburgh's going to be
but
there
he
too.
only wins 10 games a year.
Okay, so that makes the playoffs.
So that means there's a lot of decision making going on from the sideline to negate excellent talent, to negate excellent scheme. This guy knows how to field a winning football team. If he didn't know how to do that, I don't think he'd be the coach there now, Vince.
Don't bet your house on what we said today.
So you can't take Pittsburgh. You can't take Pittsburgh out of the equation.
No, you can't. Well, Jackie, you know, we've got players that are moving around the league. We got a couple more little thoughts here. You know, some guys today are wearing 0 as a number. Not 00, just a 0. And here's a couple guys. Linebacker Roquan Smith, who came from the Bears.
Right.
Okay.
Got a big deal.
All right. He went to what team? He went drafted somewhere. Was it Miami maybe?
Or Jackson. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah.
But nonetheless.
And then running back DeAndre Swift went from the Detroit. He goes to the Eagles. He's going to wear number 0.
2 different positions.
Yeah. And then a wide receiver, Calvin Ridley.
3 different positions.
Yeah.
So do you remember?
Do you like it?
Vince, don't you remember we sat here and talked about this right after the league and right after they had the league meetings and they made the announcement that they were going to allow players at a certain positions to be able to wear the number 0. And you and I sat right here at this desk, and I said, and to me, in my opinion, everybody's going to be jockeying for that number because that number is unique. It's going to be unique to every team, and it's going to be a unique way for guys to establish their own personal brand. I felt like that was going to happen. And so I'm not surprised that these 3 guys are at 3 different positions are going to wear number 0, maybe even clamoring to do it. And we're probably going to see more players want to wear that 0. And most of those guys are going to be guys who are going to be playmakers. And I mean playmakers relative to ball skills. I don't mean playmakers in the offensive line and defensive line. I'm talking about playmakers relative to dealing with the football.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that, Jackie.
Yeah, because I don't want you to think that an offensive lineman can't make plays.
Or is not skilled, right?
Or is not skilled. Don't get that confused.
No, we got that covered. Well, Jackie, we got to discuss, a really good topic. I mean, we're talking about the Washington Commanders. But there is some talk about what's going to happen there. They've got new ownership now with Magic Johnson.
Yeah,
what's happening with this organization?
Magic is a part of the new ownership group. And the thing that concerns you and I, and the speculation and all, has to do with an administrator that we have watched have a great deal of success with the Rams, particularly over the last 6 or 7 years, and that's their chief operating officer, Kevin Demoff. Now, I don't like the idea of losing Kevin Demoff to anybody because what I have seen Kevin Demoff do over the last 7 years has been nothing short of amazing. Kevin Demoff, he facilitated the move of the Rams from St. Louis here.
Yes.
He facilitated and mediated, had a role in the negotiations that settled the business between St. Louis and the Rams here in L.A. coming back. The guy was the one that was primarily under obviously the guise of Stan Kroenke, the guy who owns this team and makes all the bottom line decisions. But I believe he gave Demoff some rein in these situations because I know Demoff. He's a bright young mind. And what he has done, he facilitated the Rams playing in the Coliseum as we watched them build SoFi Stadium. He facilitated in the hiring of one of the bright young minds that's calling plays today, so he recognizes talent on the practical on-the-field head coaching position, and he facilitated the hiring or the maintaining of the position of the general manager that they have in Lev Snead, and we just saw some of his work. So Kevin Demoff also, Vince, this past year was named the Fritz Pollitt Alliance. He got the Daniel M. Rooney Lifetime Achievement Award from the Fritz Pollitt Alliance, and that has primarily to do with the workplace environment that he has created, the diversity in that environment. So this guy is hitting on a lot of cylinders to have the Rams to be successful. And then you mentioned the $5 million. I mentioned the $5 billion stadium that was built right over here in a community that needed it desperately. So this guy he dots all the I's and he crosses all the T's. Now, when you think about the Commanders has a new ownership. The last ownership that was in place, they took a lot of heat, publicly, whether it was justified or not. They was taking a lot of heat. The other thing about that organization is they haven't won in a number of years, and they were one of the dominant franchises in the NFL for year after year after year. The other thing that has happened there is that there has been a lot of failure on the field and off the field in that organization. Well, now, this is the thing that I want to add. I saw, for the last 7 years, one of the biggest fans here in Los Angeles that I have seen as a sports celebrity has been Magic Johnson. Yes. I saw Magic Johnson at more Ram games than I did when I was playing, and he was standing right over there giving me the thumbs up like, go get him, Big Jack. Yeah. Magic Johnson has been following the Rams closely. And if there's one major contribution that Magic Johnson could make to the Washington Redskins other than his presence, and the quality of his presence, what it brings, is the recommendation of a CEO who is capable of building a $5 billion stadium, quieting all of the storms that existed in the front office, building coaching staffs and building management teams There's nobody else more qualified to do that than Kevin Demoff. And for you and I, as we've discussed it, we don't want to see him leave because I think he has a lot more to give in this area. You might speculate. I don't know what your opinion is. You might feel like he's done all he can do.
Well, I can tell you this, Jackie. I mean, we've seen, and it sounds like what's going on with the Washington Commanders is what the Rams went through. They want to build a brand new stadium. They want to engage with their fans. They want to create a new environment there. And, Kevin Demoff has been through that. He's been with the Los Angeles Rams and the St. Louis Rams for 14 years. Okay, Jackie, at the stage of where he is right now, it just sounds like, his kids are grown. He's accomplished everything he can possibly accomplish, going to 2 Super Bowls, winning a Super Bowl game, or maybe 3 Super Bowls, building this new stadium, bringing this excitement back to the Los Angeles market, bringing the team from St. Louis to Los Angeles, having won the Daniel Rooney Award for Lifetime Achievement and the Fritz Pollard Alliance Award, which improves the diversity, Jackie, among coaches and executives in the NFL. So this is these awards. What he's meant to the Rams has obviously been pretty strong, and it's a lot. Everything starts at the top and goes down. So, but I think it wouldn't surprise me, Jackie, if it would be disappointing for the Rams to lose an executive like that, but he probably says, look, I can do this. And he may look forward to that challenge. Some people love that challenge and that, and that kind of, anticipation, what I could actually bring to this team. So, with his experience and what he's done in the past, gives him, an arm and a leg. And as you mentioned, Magic Johnson has been close with the Rams. He's a Los Angeles guy, coming from Michigan, coming out here, showing what he's done with the Lakers. And he's been a very active owner and a very active businessman, so he understands what it takes,
And he knows.
He knows. Why wouldn't he go for one of the best guys I can get maybe to come here? And, Marvin Demoff, Kevin's dad, was a long time great attorney, represented a lot of players in the NFL. Kevin kind of followed in his footsteps. And so I think, I think he might look forward to a challenge like that.
I don't like to hear you say that, you turncoat, because I don't want you to be encouraging. I don't want you to be encouraging our leader to be going to somebody else and build somebody else's team.
He's already accomplished.
We got a lot more to accomplish here in LA. We got a lot more to accomplish in LA.
Well,
But, Vince, you make a good point, honestly, and I think sometimes I don't.
Maybe we can get him on the show and do a little.
Well,
hopefully, we're gonna get him.
Hopefully next week. Hopefully next week, if his time schedule permits, we'll have him right on here so he can give us his opinion. But what I was going to say, Vince, is this: you and I, as competitors, as football players and athletes, we understand what it means to compete. It's a physical thing for us. You throwing and reading, and me dealing with some nasty mouth guy over here is talking about my mom and all this stuff. Yeah. You just have to deal with these situations, and they're physical. That you have to deal with them. But to me, the stuff that Kevin Demoff has accomplished with his mind and with his ability to interact with people and to pull people, there's got to be a lot of unity associated with the accomplishments that he's gotten done. And his ability to somehow, in all of these different areas, to unite all of these different talents, to have all of this success, to me, it's one of those things where I can see what you're saying. If you've done it all that you can do here, and you know you can fix it over there, why not go? But then I'm thinking to myself, come on, Kevin, you're at an age now where you need to chill, hang out with your kids. You're living in Southern California. You got the sun shining on you every day. Why would you want to go and try to fix somebody else's problem? But see, just like you left and went to Montreal, because you wanted to fix somebody else's problems, you see? Yeah. And just like I stayed at the Rams for 20 years, it's because I knew there was a problem there that nobody could fix better than me.
That's true.
So it's going to be interesting, man, to see how this whole thing shakes down. But either way it goes, I think Stan Kroenke, he's the leader, and he made the decision to hire Kevin Demoff. He knows he did a good job. He knows Kevin has done a fantastic job, and I don't think he'd want to lose him, but I don't think he would begrudge him growing because he's still a young guy. I mean, he's not our age. He's still a young guy. And, I just I kind of hate to think about it because there's been nothing but a lot of good that's happened, over the last several years with him.
Well, it'd be fun to actually talk to Kevin personally and find out what his feelings are, and maybe he can share some of his thoughts with.
So hopefully next week, Kevin will be joining us and be able to give us we'll get some facts discussed.